Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Gina, and I have a journal here today that is for the Dear Julie Amazing Junk Journal Challenge. This is my first ever junk journal, and it was a learning process. I've made, well, at least started a couple of them, but I have never finished it all the way to the end. So I started one brand new so that I could do it start to finish, and this is the result. So let's start by the cover, and you can kind of see what the paper or the fabric looks like. This is was a fabric remnant, more than likely from a fabric book that had samples. I have a creative reuse center not too far from my house in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and they have some fabulous stuff there. So as you can see, that's not perfect. I got a little bit of folds in the, but that's all part of learning for the first time. But I think it came out relatively well for my first time. I'm not sure why my fabric didn't glue all the way into those seams, but either way, that's what this fabric is. It's a lot of yellows and grayish greens and grays, and let me get up close in the camera so you can kind of see the colors. So it's got some beautiful florals, so I decided to make a floral book out of it. This little girl is from a book that has fairies and flowers in it, and currently I cannot find the little book to show you what they are. Oh, you know what? I just see it. I couldn't find it the first time I tried to film this, so let me grab that. So I actually have two of these books, and you can see that she's right from the cover. So I used the cover folder on from one of the other books, and this is a cute little book that has all kinds of little fairies and flowers in it, and it's the flower fairies of the wayside, and they have one of like the spring, summer, autumn. So there's a little series of these. So these are very cute. They make nice little pockets and things for journals. So then I have a Tim Holtz flower here and some lace trim just to kind of, give it a little bit more decoration. And this is made from a recycled book that I got from the Dollar Tree, and just put a 1.5 inch spine on it, so to give room for the 3 signatures that are on the inside. So as we go to open this up, I'm trying to get it straight here in the camera for you. This is my very first video, so please forgive my my ums and my ahs, because this is a little difficult for me to do. Just it's not something that comes natural. So on the inside here we have some Tim Holtz paper. This is from the Wallflower collection, along with some craft text for the hidden spine that the 3 signatures are sewed into. So all the signatures are pretty much laid out the same. They all have these beautiful botanicals from a book that I found at a vintage fair. I think they're very pretty. I love the picture of them, and I left the little words down here to be seen, so you can tell what they are. So then we open it up to the first page. Each signature, I should say, is made out of these medical record files. So I did have to cut them down, so I took the tabs off and repositioned them into where I needed them, because I had to cut them a little shorter than what they already were. So this is also from a botanical book. This beautiful image, if I can get it without glaring at you, is from a K & Company pack that had all kinds of botanicals and butterflies and birds. It was a very pretty pack. It's acetate, as you can see by its glare. And as I go through this, you're going to see that a lot of the papers are cream, and this is not from anything that I did. These are actually vintage papers that are naturally aged in most regards. This one I think is some kind of letterhead. It's hard to see. I don't know if I can get it up close for you. If you can see that there's a woven texture in there. I think it's coming through a little bit on the camera. But I believe this is some kind of letterhead. and just use some beautiful scrapbook paper. And this is a glassine envelope that they used a lot in stamp collecting. It's naturally have this color. And this beautiful, I think this is by, I'm not sure, Pebbles maybe? I have a lot of cute little tags like that, and I stamped on the back so that it wasn't just plain white. And as you can see, like this graph paper, this is a dark graph paper. This here is a Nina bright whites. It's a 96 brightness, so you can see that this natural aging that it already has. And these are from, I think I got these at Joann's on a clearance, and I just thought they were beautiful, and I thought it went very well for a botanical book, and the delicateness of them. And here's some of those fairies. It's a little flip out, so I have a 2-page so that you get fairies on both sides. And I should say there's a lot of writing space in this. I did that on purpose, that I wanted it for a lot of writing space. And as you can see here, the aging of this paper is just beautiful. And as you can see, the edges are a lot darker than, let me bring it up in the camera a little bit and see if you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. On how it's actually quite dark. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up with the way the light's hitting it, but it is a very, very almost tea-stained color. It is that dark. I don't know if it's going to show on camera that well. I used a lot of this like goldy, bronzy color, I guess you could call it. It kind of matches the edges here. There's a few of this color on the inside. This is a pocket that you can put a tag in. I don't currently have any tags in there. That's why I said it could use a little bit more decoration. Another little tuck spot. And some lovely crinkly paper that Dear Julie loves. This is tracing paper, and it's already got a natural cream color. It's hard to pick up on camera, but yeah, there you can see it. As well as this really pretty list paper that I thought went well with the colors in the book. And this is part of a book page that has a lot of writing on it. You'll see the other side when we get towards the back. It's quite beautiful. And then just another cute little piece of paper. This has one of the Edith Holden pages. It's from the smaller book. It has a nice little flip out that I did some stitching on. And this is a lovely, it's a very large ledger paper. Again, you can see the beautiful coloring on it and how nice and creamy it is. And just did a little tuck spot on it. It's so large that I have actually the other side of it also has this same little tuck spot. And you can actually tuck underneath the ribbon if you want to as well. And this is just some tea-dyed pages out of one of the books that I have. That also has, pretty botanicals in it. Another little belly band. I believe this is Tim Holtz. His found pieces, his little die-cut packs. That's what that is. And this gorgeous little doily that I found at a vintage fair. They are cream color, and they're just got beautiful designs on them. Let me see if I have some currently so I can show you what they look like overall. These are just, I found these at a vintage market, and they're just gorgeous. They are paper, and I got the stack of them for close to nothing. They're really quite unique and very pretty, and I wanted to make sure that I added them to the book, but funny enough, I don't think I added any of these ones in there. I might have to go back and do that and put some of those in there, because I don't have as many of these ones as I do the others. Well, maybe I have more than I thought. I was just looking at the smaller ones when I was using them, but they're very, very pretty, and I don't know where they came from. They weren't in a package. I just kind of dug through where she had them stacked in her stuff, and picked them up because I just thought they were pretty and they would go very nicely in junk journals. So on to the next page here. This is a piece of the paper that Julie had mentioned in one of her videos that is from the Home Depot, and I went specifically to find it because I thought the color went beautifully with this cover, and I didn't want to make a book without it. So then we got some Tim Holtz paper down here and another Tim Holtz piece. This came from another one of my books that is all about flowers, and then I just used another piece to make a little tuck spot here. And because the book was, I believe, was glued and not sewn, I used washi tape, this is a Tim Holtz washi tape, to connect two of them together so that I could sew them into the signature. And just another little decorative piece here. And then my inner side here, this is a piece of scrapbook paper that I folded up the bottom to make a pocket piece on the inside. And I didn't talk about this before, but now that we're here to the center, I'm going to show you I did a 5-hole pamphlet stitch because if you noticed that I had some different sizes, and especially back here, if I can find it here, that I wanted to make sure that if I had done a 3-hole, that I might only grab this one twice and this one once. So I did a 5-hole pamphlet stitch to make sure that those were secure in there. So there's my 5 holes with some cute little butterflies to top off those little strings so they're just for some extra decoration. And then we're gonna head to the back of the signature. Oh, that page is undecorated. Maybe that's a good place for one of those doilies. And here is another one of those pockets with a small time card added in. That beautiful green paper, and I just added a little photo in there of a gate. This is also from one of my gardening books that I have here, and this is part of the tea-dyed little images that I took from a book. It's another nature diary that those came from, and this is on pretty cool looking paper. It's graph on this side and lined on this side, and it is also a vintage paper. As you can see, the color here is quite yellowy from over the years, as well as this one is. Here's one of those pretty doilies that I used on this this graph paper that I made into pockets on both sides. And here's a little paper clip that I made. I think Tracy Fox is the one that I saw this from. She made ones very similar to this in a tag shape. I slipped mine into the little hole for where the tag was to make this, but they're definitely based off of Tracy Fox, and I thought they were pretty cute. And Tracy used cheesecloth, but I didn't have any like right on hand, and I had this beautiful lace that I had available in that looks like this. It's a beautiful piece of lace, and I just cut off little pieces and used as the background instead of using the cheesecloth because I had that handy. So here's another one of those bronzy colors that I said I used, which is, it's a little bag and a little tag. So like I said, it's not highly decorated. I didn't add a lot of flourishes. Again, this is my first book, and I was limited on the time that I could to get to it because of construction that was being done on our house, and I had a lot of running to do. I work a 40-hour week, so it makes it a little difficult to make sure that you get time to craft. But here's that backside that I was talking about, this beautiful bird from the nature journal that I used, and I specifically picked this to go in there because I just really, really love this bird. And I think I glued some paper onto him. Thankfully we got him off. Here's the back side of the envelopes, and a little flower quote. Again, this beautifully aged paper that I put little side band on. Another little tuck spot. This is again tea dyed from the nature journal that I used. And this also can be a tuck spot. I didn't glue it all the way down. And this beautifully aged graph paper. I'm drawing a blank on stuff. So here's a little envelope that I glued in with some little journal cards, which I thought went very pretty with the outside to bring some of that color in. Kept very neutral for the most part. I mean, there is some oranges and some pinks and purples and stuff that I try to keep it a little more nature muted colors. And there's the back side of those butterflies. And then in each back of each signature, I put a one of these beautifully garden. This is a beautiful path that was from one of the botanical books that I have. I think it's on like gardening and whatnot. So I really liked those, and they were big, large, big pictures that I wanted to put inside. I might do some traveler's notebooks with some images like this, because I have some really large images that would make beautiful exterior pieces. Maybe attach them to some craft text, and so that it makes it a little bit heavier weight for a cover, and I think they would be just stunning as covers. And I kind of failed to mention what the size of this was. It's almost a traveler's notebook size because the way that the book was. I should probably give you those measurements. This book measures roughly 5.5 by 8.5. So my interior pieces, to keep, with my tabs to be fairly inside, you can see they don't stick out too far outside the book. My interior pieces are 4 3/4 by 8.5. I kept it pretty close to the same size as the top and bottom book. So those were the measurements there, because a little easier to see is roughly 4 1/4. So it's just a little wider than what a normal standard traveler's notebook would be, because they're generally at 4.5. You can see this was actually, it had the medical holes in it, so where I had to trim it down. So on to the next signature. Again, like I said, they were laid out fairly similar. I didn't get a lot of sewing done outside of the first signature because I ran out of a lot of spare time to be able to work on this, as I mentioned. So again, it's laid out fairly similar. Again, this is a K & Company. The same little glassine bag here with a couple of tags that I added. Some cute little paper. I believe this is a 2-sided tag, maybe. Oh, nope. But again, I added a little bit of interest to the back of this one. So you can keep little receipts, whatever you want in there. Extra little notes, movies, ticket stubs, anything like that. And then again, we have the beautiful aged graph paper. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that every time I talked about it. But here we go with the more little fairies. Oops, got a little glue stuck, making things stick there. Again, Edith Holden, another one of these. Like I said, it's pretty much laid out the same way, so I'll just probably go, oops, I actually attached both of those there. So I'll just do a quick flip through, because as I said, these were pretty much laid out the same, so that way you can just kind of see what all the signatures look like. Again, the little pockets on the middle with the little butterflies and the five hole pamphlet stitch. Another little bird. You can see this beautiful discoloration that's just from age. They're just very, very pretty. That you can see that that two-tone here. Make another little pocket here. Oh, and I didn't mention these. These are some cute little paper clips that are leaf shaped that I thought would go nicely in here, especially the fact that they're green. Again, another one of these little cards that I made that I thought would be cute. Color within the color scheme. So another one of those tea-dyed images. Here's the back panel that I had mentioned that just has these beautiful ferns and I'm not sure what those are. I cut it out a while ago, so I don't exactly know which plant that is, but I just thought it was beautiful. And here we are onto the third signature, again, K & Company, the same little botanical glassine bag, same little pieces in the inside of the tag that I made, and this little cherish that I gave some interest to the back. Again, that gorgeous, just vintage old paper that just gets discolored over the ages. Edith Holden again. Another one of my tags. Oops, again, got too many pieces. I didn't use very thick paper, so it was hard to put a lot of heavy elements on it. You know, some of these pieces, like these are chipboard, they're a little heavy for this paper. Another Tim Holtz. Another, a different type of time card. I have a few different sizes like that. They're a little bit different, but they're all about the same size. Back to the center, my little butterflies, and they're different on either side, so give a little bit more interest. That beautiful green paper that Julie talked about. It's got a nice sound. Another little tuck pocket. You can kind of see that a little bit better where it's not on any colored paper behind it. Another little band. You can see that the same patterns kind of run throughout. I use the same pieces of paper, my scrap paper, to kind of to use as accents throughout. And here is the end page that I just love, this chair with this these gorgeous flowers here. And then back to the end page with the Tim Holtz wallflower paper. And then there's the end. So that's a 1.5 inch spine here. So it's a pretty big, hefty book. I'm like, that's my hand over top of it. It takes a substantial hand. So I hope you like my submission. This is my very first journal that I've made from start to finish for the Dear Julie Amazing Junk Journal Challenge. Thank you, everybody.